You open your banking app for the fifth time today, not because you need to buy anything, not because you're tracking a bill, just because some part of your brain needs to check if the number changed. It hasn't. $1,340, same as this morning, same as yesterday. And somehow that number feels both like something and like nothing at the same time. Something because it's more than a lot of people have. Nothing because one bad week could erase it completely. You've heard the advice 100 times: save more, invest early, build passive income, let your money work for you. And every time you hear it, a small, tired voice in your head says, work with what? Because advice about growing wealth assumes you already have a base to grow from. Nobody tells you what to do when you're still standing on sand. Here's what I want to talk about today. Not the $1,000,000 number, not the retirement number. A smaller, quieter number that most finance channels skip past because it doesn't sound exciting enough. $10,000. Not because it's a magic amount that fixes your life, but because of what it does to your nervous system, your decision-making, and the way you move through the world. I call it the $10,000 rule, and once you understand it, you'll never look at savings the same way again. My name is Jack. If you've ever felt like you're working hard but still one bad week away from panic, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if it helps. Let's clear something up first. Most people assume the number that changes your life is huge: $1,000,000, financial independence, early retirement. And sure, that would change things. Groundbreaking observation, I know. But here's what almost nobody talks about. The jump from $0 to $10,000 rewires your behavior more than the jump from $100,000 to $200,000 ever will. Because that first stretch isn't really about the money, it's about removing panic. And panic, it turns out, is one of the most expensive things a person can carry. Let's talk about what panic actually costs. When you have nothing saved, every unexpected expense becomes an emergency. A parking ticket becomes a fight with your budget. A dentist appointment becomes something you postpone until it's worse and more expensive. A slow month at work becomes 3 sleepless nights. You're not managing money, you're managing fear. And fear makes bad decisions look reasonable. You take the high-interest loan because you need cash today. You stay in the job that drains you because you can't afford the gap between paychecks. You say yes to things you don't want to do, not because you're weak, but because your options have shrunk down to almost nothing. Now picture the same person with $10,000 sitting quietly in an account they don't touch. They're not rich. Nothing about their life looks dramatically different from the outside. But internally, something has shifted. The parking ticket is still annoying. The dentist bill is still unwelcome. But neither of them threatens to collapse the month. That's the entire function of this number. It doesn't make problems disappear. It makes problems survivable. Let's run the math, because I know some of you are already doing the mental gymnastics of, well, that's easy for some people to say. Picture 2 people, same income, same expenses. One has $400 saved. The other has $10,000 saved. Both get hit with the same $1,100 emergency, say a transmission repair. Person 1 puts it on a credit card at 22% interest and pays it off slowly over the next year and a half, which means that $1,100 repair quietly turns into something closer to $1,400 once interest is factored in, on top of the stress of a new minimum payment eating into an already tight budget. Person 2 pays it from savings. Their balance drops to $8,900. They're annoyed, sure. Nobody enjoys watching a number shrink. But by next month, they're already rebuilding, and there's no interest, no new debt, no ripple effect into the rest of their life. Same event, 2 completely different outcomes. That's not luck. That's the buffer doing its job. Here's what most people don't realize. Almost no financial disaster starts as a disaster. It starts as something ordinary. A car needs a repair, a phone breaks, rent goes up $50. These aren't rare events, they're just life happening on schedule. But without a cushion, ordinary life gets treated like an emergency, and emergencies push people toward decisions they wouldn't otherwise make. Borrowing from the wrong place, selling something too soon, taking a job just because it pays a little more, even if it makes them miserable. With $10,000 behind you, those same ordinary events stop being threats. They become inconveniences. Annoying, sure, but survivable. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Jack, I can't even save $500 right now. How am I supposed to get to five figures? Fair. And honestly, that first stretch is the hardest part. Not because the math is impossible, but because you